Hello, Sea Lion fans, and welcome back to this latest edition of Cross Exam. Joining us today, we have Sam Kwapong, Director of Multicultural and International Student Services, and we have Tally Silva, grad student and student athlete on the men's tennis team. Sam, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Danny. What's up, Tyler?
How's Evie? How are you doing?
I am doing good, man. It's been really cool having to work with you. As an international student, I got the privilege to work with you through your admission process, and now to see you here and playing tennis here on campus. So
Yep.
I want to ask you a few questions, and then you get to ask me some questions too. So tell me about your journey and how you ended up here at Point Loma.
Okay. So first of all, thanks for having me, and it's good to be here with you, Sam. Thanks for all you have helped me. And so starting your question, so I did my undergrad in South Carolina, Aiken, and I knew I was gonna have one more season left because I graduate half semester earlier. So at that point, I started looking for different programs, and I remember a big friend of mine, Greg. He was working here at Point Loma as the assistant coach, and he started telling me that Coach Kurt was looking for a player. So that's when me and Coach Kurt started talking, and I remember I did a visit, and from there, here I am, I guess.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. Yeah, I remember when Greg came to me, because Greg was also my student. He was also an international student, and he actually came in for undergrad. Went back home and then came back for grad. So it was, he loved Point Loma very much.
And it's funny because I actually have been following his path because when I went to South Carolina, he did like 2 years there and then he transferred to Point Loma, and I did the same, and then I'm here now. So it's funny
awesome.
too. Yeah.
That's really cool. Wait, that's really awesome. So tell us about your major and how, kind of part of your journey, how you came upon trying to do that major. Has it always been something that you felt passionate about, or is it something that you kind of fell into? Like, tell us about how you got into that field.
So my bachelor is in business management, and I always had a passion for a sport. Doesn't matter which sport it is. You're gonna see me watching from basketball, running. I just love sports. So from there, I knew I wanted to focus more for that side. And then when I started looking for schools, I started looking for a school that would have a program that would focus on that part, but also a 1 year program since I just had one season left. So I remember looking at Point Loma and other schools that offer like sport management and the kinesiology program. And that's where everything starts because I knew like I had been working with tennis, but also like I wouldn't mind working with soccer or basketball. Like I just like being around sports. I like the competitive. So yeah, that's where it took me because that's what I love to do and that's what I want to be doing.
Wow. You mentioned soccer there, and it's really interesting because, we have quite a few Brazilian students here at Point Loma.
Yep.
And I would say a majority of them, if not all of them, play soccer or are on our soccer team. So, when Greg, I first met Greg, and now you are two Brazilian students who fit athletes, and you're playing tennis, I was like, wow, that was new to me. What got you involved in tennis? Maybe I
So
compared
it's
to soccer or other sports.
Yep. So it's actually funny because I grew up in Brazil playing soccer, and
Yeah.
I remember with 10 years old, I was always like, I did play tennis, but nothing competitive. I would just play like with my cousins and just fun games and stuff like that. But I always like just focusing on soccer. My dad was supporting me a lot, and my mom too. But then when I was 11, I was like, I like tennis. I want to try to be more like competitive and maybe even be a pro. Even though it's late with 11 years old to start like a sport and try to go competitive, but I thought I could try, and I always liked racket sports. So I started practicing, and it's fun. It's cool because in my other college, university, I played soccer for 1 year. I was like, I need to try something different. So I did a tryout for the soccer team and I passed. And my roommate here, Lucas, he's in the soccer team. So trust me, I love soccer and I enjoy watching. And it was hard for me not to be able to go to the games and cheer for my roommate.
That's awesome. Lucas, there's so many people when I look at your life and your friendship and everything you do, there's so many overlap with the people in your life. If you take the job I do here at Point Loma, right, working with the international students and minority students, but since you're international students, I kind of want to focus on that. I work a lot with all these other students. This might be a little bit more serious, but kind of walk me through with this whole COVID, with everything that is happening. How has it affected your life as an international student?
For me, it has been hard since when COVID started. I was working in Florida, and I was with the OPT, so it's the training program that I can work. Yeah. And then it was hard for me because I knew I had to decide when the COVID attack. I knew I had to decide if I should go back home to Brazil or stay in America, because I knew also would be hard to come back here. I was like, oh, maybe it's dangerous to go back and I'm not going to be able to come back and do my program. So I kind of decided just to stay in America, and I went to my friend's house in South Carolina and I stayed there for a while. Also went to Maine to work there. But I would say it's been hard for Lucas because he's my roommate, and I was like with the apartment and everything. We were since August, but I was just able to come here like in December. So he has been a good part by himself.
Oh man,
it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, I felt bad for him.
Yeah, when COVID hit, one of the things I'm very thankful for, working here at Point Loma is, right away we kind of got together and started talking about how can we best help, especially our undergrad students who live on campus, who didn't have anywhere else to go, the international students. And it's really cool the way Point Loma kind of came around and kind of stepped in and really helped students. So, but I'm glad that you could make it, because I know it was really hard, that not just for you but for all these other international students. So Talents, welcome me.
Thanks to you. Thank you to you. You have helped a lot.
I'm here to help. Too. I'm here to help any way that I can. So walk me through what has been, since you've been here, I know you said you've only been here since December, but what has been some of the best memories that you've had here at Loma?
I'll say every day I wake up is a good memory. It's just such a beautiful place, and the campus is amazing. I would say, the most beautiful campus in America. I just love looking at the ocean and looking at the sunset every day. Yeah. But also I like the tennis team. The guys have been really welcoming me. They're all pretty friendly. I like that we have good amount of internationals in the tennis team too, to know a little bit more about each one's culture and what they like to do. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the end of the season is going to be. I think we have a strong team, and I think we can do good. Yeah.
Cool. So you're the tennis team. And I always say this to almost every athlete, especially every athlete international student I come across. This is the year to bring a championship to Point Loma. So I know that's your goal. I know that's something that you're working towards. But outside that, what is the one goal that you want to accomplish? What is the one thing that you want to leave Point Loma and say, this is something that I accomplished, this is something that I really want to leave my mark here at Point Loma?
One thing I noticed is, like, at least compared to where I was and here, like, tennis is really quiet. Where I was, like, everyone is cheering, and I want to try to bring that to this side, like to the West Coast. I don't know if it's just Point Loma or West Coast. Like, South Americans, we like to talk a lot, and I'll fight in my court, and I want to see everyone doing the same. And I do believe we have a good team and a chance to do even better the next year. Since like I'm sure everyone would not have a problem coming to Point Loma. Just amazing, and how beautiful it is. So I want to try to leave that like my like enthusiasm, I guess, like my energy out there, and so next year's keep coming more people like that. Because I think tennis is one thing, college is tennis is another thing. Like tennis is okay, it's a private sport and all that, but when you go to college, it's more like sometimes you gotta play ugly but win. Like doing slice whatever. But it's like the team atmosphere is like what I like a lot, and I want to try to have that in the team coming for the next years, hopefully.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. I used to go to tennis games. I didn't go to every single one, but when we could have fans, I will go to it. And I've been told to shush a few times. So if you want people to make noise at tennis game, I'm there for you, brother. I will be there. I'll be there to make noise.
Trust me, I love that. I like that.
I used to go because, like you said, there is quite a few international students on the team. So I always like to support all my students. So I will go, and outside that, I like to support Point Loma in general. So I want to go and cheer them on, and so and I just wanted that they're allowing some fans at games now. So I think it'd be really cool for me to be there and to kind of cheer you guys on. Well, I have one last question for you, and then you can ask me some questions if you want. So I guess my question to you would be, looking back at your hometown in Brazil, right? I want you to tell everybody listening to this where you're from in Brazil, and what is the one or two differences and similarities that you see between here and Brazil.
Okay, so I'm from São Paulo. It's a really big city in Brazil, and I would say the culture is a big difference. Like just how we interact with each other in Brazil, we are like, I would say more friendly and hugging, like just more touching, I guess. Mm-hmm. And a lot also it's related to the food. We try to eat healthier. How here, if you go at In and Out at 4 a.m., it's busy. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, those would be the main, like the culture and food.
Yeah. Well, we do like our burgers here, especially our In and Out burgers. It's very sacred in Southern California, In and Out. So that's awesome, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're correct though. I've heard so much about Sao Paulo. I haven't had the privilege to go to Sao Paulo before, but maybe one day after COVID dies down, I'll get a chance to visit. But I've heard it's such a beautiful, beautiful place.
Let me know. I promise I will not take you to McDonald's or something like that. I'll take you to some nice.
I wouldn't go to McDonald's. I don't even eat McDonald's anymore. So no. Except you have Dunkin' Donuts, it'll be a whole different story. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
So I do. I would like to know, how did you ended up working at Point Loma? What your path getting there and getting your position, where you came from, and
Oh man, I'll make it really short. So as you know already, I was an international student just like you from Ghana. So I was able to move to the U.S. when I was 17 and went to high school and bachelor's degree in Connecticut. You were in Maine, so fairly New England person over there. So I was in Connecticut for a while, and then after that moved to Southern California. I know Point Loma people probably will not want to hear this, but I went to school at APU. I know. So I went to school at APU for a little bit, met my wife, got married, moved back to the East Coast, worked there for a little bit, and then found this job. I was approached about this job, and I interviewed for it, and thankfully, God wanted me to be here. So then I came here. But my entire life, I think, has been kind of set up to work with international students because I have worked with international students um, over 20 years, even through undergrad and then my first job at APU. So I've always worked with international students. I understand the culture of an international student. I understand this idea of being a third culture kid, right? So so yeah, so that's what my life has been. Everything that the international students go through, I have been through. I have been through visa appointments, and visa interviews, and traveling, at the airport and being in that line and going to secondary and being pulled aside and some strange, mean-looking person, security guard, looking at your passport and just feel uncomfortable and awkward and weird. And so I've been through all that, so I understand all that. So being sitting at this side of the table, and talking to international students, I relay my life experiences with what they're going through. Now, mind you, I went through that in 2000. It was a long time ago, but I think although some of the policies may change, but for the most part, I think the experiences and the feelings are the same. So I try to use what I went through to help students like yourself. So
Yeah.
create a home for you, create a space for you to feel welcome. So yeah, so that's kind of the short part of my journey.
Yeah. I have one last question for you. And working with international students, how has been for you, like the COVID? And I'm sure some students were not able to come study here. And how it has been for you? Probably it's a lot of work and stress. So tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, it's been, and I was actually talking to someone the other day. So my work, working with an international student, most of the time, what I do is trying to talk to all the students and trying to calm them down and making sure they don't have as much anxiety as So um, taking students who want to come here, for example, who can't make it for different reasons. Some can't make it because of travel restrictions. Some can't make it because they can't even get your visa. So what I end up doing is for each student that is seeking a visa, I write a separate letter for them to send to your consulate that, and basically we're advocating for them to get an emergency appointment to come here. I'm also in contact with every one of those students. As you know, every single one of my international students have access to my personal cell phone number, right? So at 24/7, 365, they can reach me if they need anything. So I'm talking to students on WhatsApp, on WeChat, on all these different social media accounts and trying to keep up with them. Also, part of it is trying to get them kind of in the school, in the American school mindset, because at some point, COVID is going to go away
Yeah.
and they're gonna come back. So, or they're gonna return. So I try to keep them in that mindset. So I keep in communication with them, calling them constantly, making sure they're okay, texting them. Um, I also work individually with different departments. So if I have a student who's struggling, like if there's classes that are synchronous, we have students in Sweden and all these different places that are 9 hours away. So when classes are like 10 o'clock here, they normally it's like 10 p.m. or 12 a.m. over there. So, I work with each student and each professor to make sure that students are getting what they need. I also try to work with the bookstore a little bit. If books need to be shipped to students, just to ship their books back, try to help them out in that area. Um, I work and I collaborate with the wellness center. If a student is coming back, how do we do the protocols for testing and quarantine and all that? And I also work with housing and res life to make sure that students meet the criteria that they need to move in. So that's just on the undergrad side. And then on the grad side, I basically do the same thing minus the housing piece. So
Yeah.
so it has been quite a bit of work, It's been quite a bit of work, but I feel like in this moment in time, students need that stability, right? So they need that space to say that, okay, I have an office, and this office is there for me, right? And that's why I want them to view it. My office is a home away from home for international students. So
That's what I was gonna say. I feel that you leave everything really open, and that's good because sometimes we need like a home that's not home, I guess.
yeah,
And you're always there, and even the phone number we can call you, and it's pretty
yeah.
nice to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks a little bit because I miss one of the things I do is having international students in my house all the time for dinner and barbecue and all that. With COVID, it's like, oh, I can't really bring them to my house right now. Like next week is Easter Sunday, right? Easter Sunday is one of the big American, not really American, it's a Christian holiday, but in America, we have the Easter Sunday dinner and stuff, and I've always had students over at my house. We normally have like 6, 7, maybe sometimes even 15 or so students at my house, and we just, be in the backyard and have barbecue, and but it can't do that this year because we want to be careful with the COVID. So it's one of the areas where I can't serve my students the way I want to. So any little way that I can serve them.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the answers
Oh, no problem.
and the questions.
Thank you for the answers too. Well, hey, I think that's all the questions we have. But hey, I appreciate you so much, Silas. I appreciate what you bring to Point Loma. I appreciate what you have in store for us, and I hope our students can learn from you. And I always say that not every student can go study abroad, and not every student can go to Brazil. But we have some international students here who can show us what Brazil is like. Who can show us what international living is like. So I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you on campus, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you. Looking for it.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care. All right, bye.